I love gaming in the modern age. I only ever want to play new games. Who are you?
I'm the wizard of all games.
There's somebody in my house.
I command you to play old games.
Well, why do I have to play old games?
Games from a long time ago.
No!
In a galaxy from far, far away.
Yes!
Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Every time I was a kid, these movies have stuck with me until today. And the video games. Since being a kid, I played some of these Star Wars video games.
But from a long time ago.
Wait, these are bad Star Wars games? I actually like Star Wars.
You're gonna play the Star Wars Game Boy games from a long time ago. And they're already downloaded on your computer.
You're making me do something I don't want to do in my own house? I could be gaming.
You heard the wizard. Guess I gotta play all these Star Wars Game Boy games. Where to begin? I guess there's no better place to start than the game that started it all. Star Wars for the Game Boy from 1992. Wow, right away I am blown away by the title screen. I mean, this is really Star Wars. And wow, it's just like from the beginning of the movie. Luke Skywalker and his Uncle Owen have purchased 2 droids from the Jawas. One of them appears to have disappeared. Okay. C-3PO impression time. It's not my fault, sir. Please don't deactivate me. I told him not to get... Well... Okay, so I guess we're walking around in this cave at the beginning. I can run and shoot my little gun, and at the end of the cave I get another gun. And we're back out in the land speeder. Nothing quite makes me want to explore the desert wastelands of Tatooine in my land speeder like this music. Okay, so I made it into the sandcrawler. Let's find R2-D2. I'm exploring the sandcrawler, going around. A Jawa! My first enemy! Taken care of. You can climb up this ladder, and there's another Jawa. Ooh, a multi-leveled level. Clear this gap, and... Ooh, fell back down. Wait. That can kill me? Okay. Okay, climb up here again, kill this guy. Going across. Jump. And these things with the up arrows make you go up, I guess. Makes sense to me. These conveyor belts make you slide around. Oh, ugh. Ow, there's fall damage? What? Okay. Let me try this again, I guess. Now, what you're seeing here is a fast-forwarded version of around 27 minutes of playtime. I condensed it down to around 35 seconds because you guys get the idea. I mean, look at this thing. I'm going around, just keep on dying. I mean, blah, blah, blah. This game's bad. You get it. I mean, come on. Seriously, a guy like me, a real professional gamer who's taking this long to play a game, probably for kids? And we finally got him. Now that we have R2-D2, it's time to find Obi-Wan Kenobi. Or Ben Kenobi, as he's known on Tatooine. But, to be honest, I'd really like to stop playing this game. It's not very interesting. Well, I still haven't found Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that's it. I don't want to start over or keep playing. So I guess it's on to the next one. Here we have The Empire Strikes Back, also released by Capcom for the Game Boy in 1992. Right away you can tell we're in for something good. The music is the same as the last game. The text scrolls, tells you what's going on in the movie, and then boom, right away Empire Strikes Back, and then we're on Hoth. In this game, you play as Luke Skywalker, riding around on a tauntaun, shooting your gun. And just like in the movie, Han Solo tells you there's a meteor around. You gotta go see what it is. It's actually one of the Empire's droids. You can get off the tauntaun and walk around on the ice, but it's pretty slippery. My first enemy. This happens a lot quicker than in the last one. Obi-Wan tells you, remember to use your lightsaber, but I don't think I have one yet. I just keep going deeper into this cave. No real idea of where I'm supposed to go. I guess those arrows mean go that way? Kind of interesting how open-ended this level is. I don't know if the other levels are like that though. The reason I don't know about the other levels is I didn't beat this one. Darth Vader had it all too easy killing me. I'm gonna give this one more shot. Okay, so we're back to where I was. Let's see if I can fare a little better this time around. I feel like I'm about to fall asleep at the controls here. Okay. This one really stinks. I do not want to keep playing. And bam, there it is. Super Return of the Jedi on Game Boy from 1999. Now, I've played these crazy Super Star Wars games for the Super Nintendo, and they are super hot. Just like it's super hot down here. You know, I keep putting this sweater back on for continuity's sake, but who cares about that? My hair is obviously longer than it was in the intro, and yeah, I didn't get around to filming this part till about a month and a half later, but I had to play all the games and edit all this footage, and I just wasn't feeling it. In this game, you can choose between 3 heroes: Leia, Chewie, and Luke. I'm gonna go ahead and play with Leia / Bausch, the bounty hunter, as she's the person who really saves Han from Jabba the Hutt. It looks like in this game, you can run around, swing your stick, block yourself, look up, and crouch. You can also do this spin jump on guys. There's a part where you have to jump over all these platforms. It's a little bit like a platforming section. And I died. Okay, I guess I'll choose a different hero. Let's see how Chewie handles. I know I'll be better as Luke. Alright, it's time to move from the boring age of black and white to the exciting age of color. The Game Boy Color, that is. We're gonna start off with an absolute banger. This is Yoda Stories. Yeah. And in case you didn't know, that's Yoda. Jedi Master, little green wizard, actually trained Luke in the Force. Ringing any bells? Pretty cool title screen. I think I'm gonna go with new game. Well, let's see what this is all about. So, it's looking like Yoda's story starts with Yoda explaining to Luke that Han Solo, who he's never met by the way, has had the Millennium Falcon once again impounded by Jabba the Hutt, and Luke needs to go rescue his friends. So Luke flies to Mos Eisley in his X-Wing and hops out, and this is where the game begins, I guess. I thought this was called Yoda Stories, not Luke Stories. I know Luke's stories. Let's just play this thing. As you can see, this is kind of like an adventure game where you go around talking to people, get items, try and figure out what to do and where to go. But there's also a bit of action involved, and there's various enemies around the spaceport, including stormtroopers and Jawas, as well as Tusken Raiders and other crazy creatures on the outskirts of town that mean you harm. It's not fun at all. I got about this far, died, and did not play again. I guess we'll never know Yoda's story, but honestly, I kind of like it better that way. He is always supposed to be more of this like mysterious Jedi where you maybe didn't know where he comes from, but he's wise and old, which ruins it in the prequels, by the way. And speaking of those pesky prequels, why not take a look at the first game that came out for the Game Boy Color based on those prequels, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Say what you will about the prequels, the pod racing sequence is one of the most amazing sequences of film's history, and these moments will stick in my mind until I die. The game starts off with this pretty crazy little cutscene here. Was I just watching the movies or playing the video games? Now, breaking the illusion a little bit, I've already played this game briefly before recording it, so I've already unlocked 3 racers. But I'm gonna have to go with my boy Annie, as he's rocking the Radon Ulzer 620C. Now, in this game, you challenge pod racers across a few familiar planets from the Star Wars universe. There are a few different tracks and racers to unlock on each one of these planets. There's not too much to say about this game other than, so far, it's definitely the most fun out of any of the games I've played. It handles pretty well, the pod racers move around nicely. It's a good little racing time, but it's pretty repetitive and not too interesting. But before we move on, take a look at this absolutely crushing defeat I delivered to Mahonic. Our final game for the Game Boy Color again tries to cash in on that Phantom Menace hype. Here we have Star Wars Episode 1, Obi-Wan's Adventures. And as you can tell from this opening slideshow they give us here, we're in for some adventures. The game begins on the Trade Federation ship. Negotiations break down, and it's time for Obi-Wan to test his skills at last. Whoa. Let's take our foot off the gas for just a second here. The game does not seem to want to give us a lot of context as to what's going on in the galaxy around this time, so for those of you unfamiliar with the story of the Phantom Menace, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of the current state of affairs. The sort of inciting incident, if you will, of the Phantom Menace is that the Trade Federation has set up a blockade around the peaceful planet of Naboo, threatening a full-scale invasion of its newly acquired droid army. Now, this is a big deal because the Galactic Republic has kept peace and order in the galaxy for a long time now, and planets have been able to trade goods between one another pretty freely without a lot of problems. Now, this is a pretty big deal for the Republic, not only symbolically, since the Trade Federation, a large and powerful group, is threatening invasion of a large and powerful, peaceful planet Naboo, but also on the more immediate and practical level, the Queen of Naboo, Padme Amidala, is in danger of being kidnapped if this invasion goes their way. So the current Chancellor of the Republic, Chancellor Valorum, sends the Jedi Knight Qui-Gon Jinn and his Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi to try and negotiate with the Viceroy of the Trade Federation, Newt Gunray, to see if they can't work something out. While Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan wait to talk to Newt Gunray receives transmission from Darth Sidious, a powerful Sith Lord and the secret benefactor of the Trade Federation, saying, do not negotiate with the Jedi, kill them right away, and go ahead with the invasion. You see, some people view the Jedi a bit more like enforcers of a gang or something like that, going in to collect debts or intimidate people on behalf of the Republic. Luckily, most Jedi have a pretty good moral compass, and they're noble. Most. Newt Gunray releases toxic gas into the room that Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are staying in, and the adventure begins. This game is an isometric game. You are Obi-Wan, you have a lightsaber, and you can use the Force. You use it on droids on the Trade Federation ship, and you go through the ship to escape. There is electricity on the ground sometimes. Then, when you complete the level, there's a picture of Obi-Wan, and then now we're on the Trade Federation landing craft. So it's very similar to the first level, except it is a landing craft instead of the main ship that they were on at the beginning. Now we are on our way to the planet of Naboo. So on level 3 we are in the Naboo swamp. We go through the swamp, and then on level 4 we're in the swamp / sacred place. This is a run and gun kind of level. Then on level 5 we've returned to Coruscant at last. So we left Naboo and got to Coruscant just to go back to Naboo, and literally nothing happened in between. But when we get back to Naboo, we're greeted with this beautiful brown level with falling rocks that are very tough to avoid and kill you right away. That's gonna be the end of Obi-Wan's adventure for me. Okay, now I'm getting excited because we are moving from the Game Boy Color to the Game Boy Advance. The Game Boy Advance was the first system I actually owned as a kid, and I love this thing. There's a whole host of awesome games on here you can play. And to start it off, we have Star Wars Jedi Power Battles. I mean, this game looks sick. Right off the bat, we have Mace Windu with his iconic blue lightsaber, and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon looking sick on the sides to help him out. Since we haven't seen anything from Mace Windu yet, I think I'm gonna go with him. Okay, Trade Federation battleship. Alright, and... okay. It's a lot like Obi-Wan's adventures. It's actually worse than that. It's actually harder to control than Obi-Wan's adventures. Okay. Oh no. Okay. let's just keep on trucking, I guess. Next up we got Attack of the Clones for the Game Boy Advance. This game came out in 2002 along with the movie, and hopefully a movie that is much more action-focused than Phantom Menace, lots more Jedi, two big armies fighting against each other, will be a lot richer source material to pull from for a video game. Let's get started. Looks like this game was made by David A. Palmer of David A. Palmer Productions. If he's gonna put his official script stamp of approval over this thing, it's gotta be good. Oh yeah, baby, I know these guys. No need to give you the rundown on what's going on this time. The game has it under control. It gives you the title crawl from the opening of the movie and then gives a slideshow showing what happens in the first 15 minutes. Level 1, Coruscant Rooftop. Make your way across the rooftops and into the hangar. Let's get started. Oh no, is this what this game is? Oh no. Are you serious? Is this all you do? The level is so long. It's so boring and stupid. David A. Palmer wrote his name on this game. Like this was like a designer, like artist, like designer game that he was proud of or something. Like, are you proud of this game, David A. Palmer? Well, hey, I'm playing it. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. I'm playing it. I mean, look, this thing's awesome. I'm really playing this game here. Well, that frickin' sucked. Maybe we'll have some better luck with the next game that came out for the Game Boy Advance. This game serves as a direct continuation of Attack of the Clones, taking place in between that and Revenge of the Sith, near the early stages of the Clone Wars. The story's pretty vague here. There's a desperate message from Tatooine, some sinister threat. Yoda sends Anakin to go investigate. I don't really think there's too much interesting to show from this game. It's actually the only one I played all the way through. Is that because it was fun or good? Not really. It was pretty boring, very repetitive. However, it was very easy, pretty liberal with the checkpoints, and the only one that I felt like I could progress all the way through. Story is kind of interesting. There's not too much going on. You have to figure out what's going on with these distress signals. It ends up being, something about a new droid factory being built with like new crazy powerful droids or something being developed by what's that guy that was on Geonosis in the council? Wat Tambor, the blue guy who helped do the Death Star blueprints, which I'm pretty sure comes up in this later also, as you are stopping the Death Star plans and Count Dooku is there and you fight him and some bounty hunters and stuff. It's not really that cool. At the end you blow up a big droid factory. I think really the main highlight of this game comes from the cutscenes where Anakin's chilling out in the Jedi Temple with the other members of the Jedi Council. Some of the dialogue here is awesome. It gives us a look into these characters in a way that we didn't really get to see in the movies. Take this crazy ending scene, for instance. We defeat Count Dooku, take Wat Tambor hostage, and return to the Jedi Council. Anakin talks to the Jedi Council to tell him what went down. They say, good job. Yoda says you're going to turn to the dark side. And Anakin says, I will always be here to serve the Jedi, Master Yoda. I give you my word. Yeah. I guess we know how good Anakin's word is. So far, the prequels have not been giving me the exciting video game action I was hoping for. And I guess the people at LucasArts realized the same thing. So in 2003 they decided to kick it back to the original trilogy with Star Wars Flight of the Falcon. Okay, this looks pretty legit so far. High budget animations, cool little thing going on here. Oh, destroy the TIE fighters before landing at Mos Eisley Spaceport. I guess this is kind of like a parallel or almost a prequel story to A New Hope, since we're getting Han Solo's perspective before he was introduced to our heroes Luke and Obi-Wan. A lot of critics online were complaining that this game looks terrible and is almost impossible to control or get through, and while I can see where they were coming from, it's not horrible. I mean, I can control the Falcon and aim it pretty well. It's kind of fun to shoot down TIE fighters. Admittedly, I like the 3D effects. I like how the Star Destroyer looks coming up here. As long as this game isn't too repetitive and this isn't just the same thing every level, I might actually enjoy this one. Okay, we've completed the first mission. Mos Eisley Spaceport, Tatooine. Elude your Imperial pursuers and meet Han Solo at the docking bay before the stormtroopers arrive. Then blast your way out of the spaceport. Your display shows the time before taking blah. Okay, so I guess we're playing as Luke here. Is this Flight of the Falcon or Flight of Luke's Landspeeder? Whoa, 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 whoa! We are going way too fast through these narrow streets. C-3PO, hold on! Hang on, C-3PO! You're gonna want to hold on here. Hang on, 3PO. Hang on, 3PO. This level just doesn't end. It goes on forever. It keeps going. It won't. Okay, there are only 2 more games. Only 2 more Star Wars games made for the Game Boys, and so far none of them have been good, only a couple have been fun, and only in short bursts. That means the developers have 2 more chances to blow me away. But luckily, this next game may be exactly what I'm looking for. Star Wars Trilogy, Apprentice of the Force. This game came out for the Game Boy Advance in 2004, and it looks like finally we are going to get an actually good video game where we can play through all 3 movies in the original trilogy. Let's jump right in. Here's something a little bit interesting. The way they decided to summarize the first scene in the movie before we're introduced to Luke is actually from Luke's perspective down on Tatooine. He witnesses the epic space battle from the surface of the planet, and with dreams of becoming a fighter pilot himself, you can see why this would be a pretty exciting day for him. The narration in this game is actually in the first person. This is where my journey begins. Luke, I'm assuming. Our first goal is to meet Uncle Owen in front of the farm. Please be a good game. Please be a good game. Oh. Well, hey, the animation is kind of cool, I guess. It at least looks like they're moving around, even if it's weird art style. Here's C-3PO, R2-D2, gonna go clean them. Oh, Tusken Raiders, we gotta find R2-D2. I feel like I've done this before. Okay. Oh my god, this thing just goes on and on and on, and all you do is shoot Tusken Raiders 1 or 2 at a time. Very, very boring. When we finally make it to the end of the level and rescue R2-D2 from the grubby, greedy Jawas, we've completed the level. After I saved R2-D2, we ran into Ben Kenobi. It turns out he was the reason R2-D2 escaped. He had to deliver a message to him, the Death Star plans. Turns out old Ben was a Jedi Knight named Obi-Wan. Okay, blah blah blah, Jedi like my father, stormtroopers and my home. Am I missing something here? I assume you use R2-D2 to open up this door somehow, but I've been smashing every button and I cannot get past the door. I really can't get this door open here. Could probably look up how to do it. Man, this game is terrible. Okay, we have one more chance for a good game. There's one game left. Please be good. It's gotta be good, right? I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, baby. I mean, this is the closest thing to a sick movie out of the prequels. There's so many different locations, so many fights going on. I mean, this has potential to be awesome. Out of all the games I've shown so far, this is actually the only one I owned as a kid. I played this thing a lot. And if I remember correctly, it's awesome. But at the time, pretty much every game you got was awesome. We'll see if I can take off the nostalgia blinders for a second and really analyze how good this thing is. Master Obi-Wan, we gotta rescue Palpatine, who's hostage by General Grievous and the droid army. Okay, pretty simple. It was just an indication of what's to come. Thanks for saving my life again. You're welcome, Master, yet again. Remember, Anakin, that business on Cato Nemoidia doesn't count. Master, we've got company. This is where the fun begins. Anakin looks pretty cool. The lightsaber, the art style, I'm liking it. Okay, I'm remembering this now. You're trying to get through the level as fast as possible, switching up your attack styles and stuff, getting cool style points to upgrade yourself. They may have wanted to study how the Vulture droids actually looked in Revenge of the Sith before putting them in the game. They're still using the old art style from Phantom Menace. Obi-Wan meets back up with us and reminds us that it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. Classic Obi-Wan stoicism. You know Anakin's got a comeback ready. Scene 2 begins, which is for some reason called These Aren't the Droids You're Looking For, and it also takes place on General Grievous's fighter. It's getting a little samey here, guys. Super battle droid coming out, some bullshit on the ground that you have to jump over that's hard to see. Okay, it's getting a little overwhelming, kind of hard to pick the right trajectory of shots, remember all the different combinations of buttons I have to pull, and da. Am I just becoming an idiot, or would the controls be more intuitive if I was using a Game Boy instead of my laptop keyboard? I mean, I know I beat this game when I was a kid with both Anakin and Obi-Wan. Maybe I just spent a lot more time on it since it was one of the only things I had to play. But for some reason, it's just giving me so much trouble right here. I mean, I can get about this far where the gold battle droids start coming up and a bunch of people start falling out of the ceiling, coming out of the door. And the second these super battle droids show up, I start losing health big time. I mean, one single blaster shot not only does a lot of damage, but it staggers you, leaving you vulnerable to be hit a lot more times. Okay, nice. I wiped all those guys out. I'm gonna have to start all the way over at the beginnings of the level. I don't want to do that. I don't want to play these games anymore. That one at least looked cool and felt better than all the other ones. It was the closest thing to a real game, I feel like, out of all of these. It wasn't like awesome or anything though. Why is there there's just none that are good? Or maybe if you would call that one good, there's one that's good and none that are great. I mean, this is Star Wars. There's so much to pull from here. I don't know exactly what the answer is, but maybe Star Wars is just not meant to be on the handheld. Why couldn't you give less casual gamers one game on here? I mean, something like a cool Star Wars tactics game, like a turn-based strategy game or something. That would work really well. Or like a turn-based RPG even. That would be cool. But
Okay, you old dirty wizard, I played your games. Where's my prize? Well, I played all these Star Wars games, and all I got was a stupid lightsaber. I think I'm turning to the dark side of the Force. I'm so freaking obsessed with Star Wars.